Uh, Welcome, everyone. I'm Sukhbir Dhillon, founder of Addteq. We are solution providers and also write add-ons for different Atlassian tools and make them fancy. We've been doing a lot of things with hackathons, beer and brag. We have something internally. And we combine everything together for every summit. Every summit we go to, we create an exhibit, and our exhibit has to be a little quirky. It has to do something to engage the audience, and I'm going to share all of that with you today. So when we started talking about exhibit ideas, and every time people talk about exhibit ideas, they get stuck at Kanban board. DJ Kanban did a good job. He can make money by just selling that concept. But for your summit exhibit, you want people to look at something and say, oh, this is really cool, something which makes an impact. The second thing we thought about was any kind of diagramming tool. Something happens in the diagramming tool and the beer comes out of a tap. Something quirky like that. But then we were like, let's do something else. Let's do something which really makes an impact. So for Summit 2016, one of my developers came to me on a Friday evening and showed me his prototype he was working on. And I recorded his video right away, and this is the same video with. Oh, the video did not play.
Alexa, ask Jira.
Tell me the Jira issue to get the status for.
Demo 1.
Demo 1, this is to test calls from Alexa is in backlog status.
So for those who don't know what Alexa is, Amazon created a voice interface for a device called Amazon Echo. Similar to you have an iPhone and the application is called Siri. Whereas on this side, they just called Alexa, which runs on Echo. And the best part about this is Amazon did not give it a keyboard, a mouse, or a screen. So you only talk to a speaker, and the speaker responds back to you. And the whole concept is really cool. As we go along our journey, I'll explain you how different things work. But before we do that, let's rewind our clocks and go back to 2014 and how we made our journey. So in 2014, we wanted to create some exhibit, as I was talking to you. And our concept was the exhibit needs to be fun. Exhibit needs to be integrated, and it should come with some sort of prize, an iPad or something. So we created Flappy Bird using the Flappy Bird open source code. We wrote our integrations on top of it, so people can sign up, people can see the results, and all that good stuff. So the technologies we were using, open source Flappy Bird, HTML5, we wrote our own forms on top of it so people can fill out a form. The really cool thing over here is Firebase. We were just getting introduced to Firebase. We really like the concept of a real-time database. So for those who don't know what a real-time database is, Firebase can push information to the clients. So if you have multiple source where the data is coming in, you can push that data very easily to the client and it can make it look very real time for the users. And obviously Twitter, when you play the game and you score more than something, we wanted to tweet it that, no, you are at the summit, boot S19. So how did it work? The user will fill out a form. The form registers in the Firebase database. All the response shows on the HTML5. And if you score more than something, it'll tweet that for you. What did we learn from this? That it did not work. The reason it did not work was because Flappy Bird is a very millennial and younger age game, and people in Summit, they are a little above that age. Many people didn't even know what Flappy Bird is. That was kind of a fail for us. It didn't hit the target audience, and it did not integrate with any of the Atlassian tools. We are at Atlassian Summit. We want to see it talking to Jira or Confluence or HipChat or something else. So in 2015, we really hit the target. And what I mean by we really hit the target was we created a dartboard and connected it to HipChat. So we took the Summit Exhibit TV, we installed a touchscreen glass on top of it, and you can shoot that TV. And to play the game, you sign up in HipChat. You can see everything from HipChat. When people are playing, the score is getting recorded. And when somebody wins the game, the HipChat will tweet that for you. Not only that, we added additional functionality like you can skip a user if somebody doesn't want to play, somebody wants to attend a talk, or you want to cancel a game, you want to add people. And this thing worked out really well. The technology behind it, we used HipChat. We used Node.js because the HipChat add-on works on Node.js. We used HTML5. We used Twitter, as usual, Firebase. We liked using Firebase after our first introduction to it. And since here things are happening in real time, Firebase kind of worked out better. And Toys R Us, because we went through about 50 different versions of bows and arrows to figure out which one really works. So how did it work? So the person manning the booth opens the HipChat on their phone and signs up the user who wants to play the game. And the sign up can be /play and your Twitter handle, or just your full first name and last name. HipChat posts that message to Firebase, and the message gets pulled to the dartboard, so you see on the screen that, okay, you are ready to play the game. So when you see your name, you start shooting at the dartboard. And as you're playing the game, dartboard will also post messages to Firebase as well as HipChat. And once the game is completed and user scores more than 50, it'll tweet that on Twitter. And initially we were scoring for 10, and then we did so many tweets that Twitter blocked us. So we ended up opening another account, generating another API key, and all that. So these are a few of the HipChat screens. This is how we added a user and skipping a user. Same way to see the score list as well as who is in your queue. And you can see the commands are / because we were not using the Connect framework. We were using the 1.0 version of the HipChat add-ons. And the user response. The next quarter after the summit, our plugin revenue jumped up by 1,800%. And we were not even showing our plugin over there. So when we came back, we started thinking about, okay, now what should we do? What's next? We already shoot at Dartboard so many times. The next one needs to be better than Dartboard. So we ended up creating Brobot. So this was the idea of one of our designers, and he came to me and he's like, if you can talk to Alexa and you can integrate an animated character with Alexa, that will really work out well with people. And it took us a couple of days to come up with the concept. And Brobot was fully integrated with Alexa. So as you talk to Alexa, Brobot will behave accordingly and respond to you. It was about 40 to 60 hour project.
Alexa, ask Brobot to play rock, paper, scissors.
Hello, Sukhbir Dhillon. Are you ready? Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors.
Brobot chose paper. You beat Brobot. Number of tries left is 2. Are you ready? Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock.
Brobot chose paper and beats you. Number of tries left is 1. Are you ready? Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock.
Brobot chose rock. It's a tie. Game over. Your score is 4. Thank you for...
So it was really cool, the way robot got animated. Over here, you can see we, by now, became Firebase fans because it was very easy to do this with Firebase. Then the usual suspects, HipChat, Twitter, Node.js was always there. You see Amazon Echo picture. But besides that, you see another icon on the extreme right side. That's called Lambda. So the way AWS Lambda works is it promotes serverless technology, which means you don't have to worry about your server resources. You don't have to worry about procuring a server. Whenever you instantiate something which needs some CPU cycles, it'll pick one of the millions of the servers, create an instance over there really quick for you. Once it executes, it dies out and ready for the next one. So how did it work? User post message on the HipChat room. HipChat, again, posted on Firebase. Firebase animates Brobot as somebody's added to the queue. The the player who is ready to play the game sees Brobot, starts talking to Alexa. Alexa creates the Lambda function every time the user is talking to Alexa. Lambda function post message to HipChat. Lambda function post message to Firebase. Firebase animates Brobot. And once the game is over, it'll tweet that on Twitter. So the Alexa architecture, the way it works is somewhat similar to Apple App Store and Atlassian Marketplace. When you buy an Alexa, it comes with the Amazon Alexa service. Every time you instantiate something, it'll create a Lambda function, executes it. And if you want to create your own skill, like we did, you need to use Developer Portal. And in the Amazon Developer Portal, you can create your list of skills, and you can say whenever this skill is called, call the XYZ API function. If that skill is called, call this API with these parameters. Now, you can have your skill private, which we did in our case, or you want to sell it on the marketplace and you want to make it public. So to do that, you publish it to the Amazon Echo App Store, and Amazon validates it that it's doing what it's supposed to do and all that shenanigans before it makes it public. So going back to the example of previous year and the 2016, you saw how we were skipping users by typing commands, and we had so many business people with us, and they hated typing commands. Nobody wanted to do that. So we used Connect framework, which helped us reduce some of the commands with the buttons. The score list got replaced with just a button user can click on it. The queue also got replaced. But we faced few challenges while, not the challenges, we learned few things from the second time. And what we learned was there's too much communication going on. Everything was real time. You need to create a perception of real time when you're talking to Alexa and when Brobot responds to you, which means they are both running on separate connections. And Summit in US with 3,000 people, the Wi-Fi can get very crowded. And 1 second of lag, Brobot feels like he's not following your instructions. So that was one challenge. It was cool to look at, but it was not making an impact like the dartboard, because dartboard was making a sound which was attracting people automatically, whereas the Brobot was relatively silent. So in 2017, we took all this learning, Firebase especially, along with HipChat and Confluence integrations. So what we did in 2017 is we worked on our plugins along with while we were creating all these exhibits. So one of our plugin is Excellent Table. Those who are not aware of what Excellent Table is, it's a spreadsheet which sits on top of Confluence. And it creates everything in the database. You create your macro, and you start using your spreadsheet. The spreadsheet supports multiple sheets. It supports PDF outputs. It supports import, it supports export. You can design it the way you want. You can have filters created. You can share your spreadsheet. But in 2017, people need more than that from a spreadsheet. Everybody who use any cloud-based software these days, they want something more than these functions provided by any kind of spreadsheet or any kind of software out there today. And since Confluence came up with collaborative editing in 2016, we needed to do something similar. So we are working on collaborative editing in Excellent Table. So it'll be the first spreadsheet, or I would say the first add-on out of the 2,000 add-ons in Marketplace to support collaborative editing out of the box. How did we achieve collaborative editing? So before I go there, just out of the box, as of today, it supports everything else but collaborative editing. So you have Confluence and you have Excellent Table. And you saw how Firebase supports real-time editing. So we took help of Firebase to provide collaborative editing in Excellent Table. And since Firebase doesn't require a controller, your controller is your jQuery, your React code. There is a bunch of libraries provided. You can just include in your JS. If your add-on is using jQuery, less than 5 lines, it can start using Firebase. If your add-on is using React, less than 3 lines, you can start using Firebase. So you're like, okay, it works, but do we have a working prototype? So you can see another user joined, and first user is typing in the spreadsheet. And then the second user is typing on a different tab. So the users are identified as S and G by the first letters of the first names. Thank you. Do you have any questions?